Welcome back to the deep dive. We've got a really interesting set of sources today. It's basically a snapshot, right, of this digital ministry platform called God's Corner. Are you in God's Corner? Captured Thursday, October 16th, 2025.
That's right. And that snapshot is our launch pad. Our goal here isn't just, to skim the surface. We really want to get into the weeds, analyze the structure, figure out the themes, the content balance, essentially decode what this platform is all about based on this specific moment in time.
Yeah, and what immediately jumped out at me looking through this material is just how striking the mix of topics is. This isn't like a standard church bulletin board online.
Not at all.
The recent posts, they show this real blend. You've got the traditional spiritual stuff right alongside these incredibly modern, very specific, almost controversial questions.
Exactly. You see classic devotional themes, but then, bam, these really contemporary queries. We're talking titles like, is Jesus white, appearing near multiple posts titled, is she a narc? That kind of contrast. It just makes you ask, what's the strategy here? What kind of digital approach needs this kind of range?
Okay, so before we get lost in the content itself, maybe we should unpack the structure. Because looking at the site navigation list you provided, wow, this is way more than a blog. It feels like a whole digital operation.
It absolutely is. The navigation tells a story. It shows this organization has gone far beyond, let's say, basic online ministry. They've built a complete integrated system. It seems designed for really deep engagement on multiple levels. Think spiritual, educational, and even commercial.
Right, I saw that. You've got the core ministry elements you'd expect, like prayers, sermons, praise team, a community section, feeds, those standard touch points.
Yes, the spiritual heart is there. But then, layered right on top, is a pretty solid educational offering, specific sections for courses and Bible study. That suggests they're creating structured learning content, which, well, that has inherent value.
And value leads to commerce. And the site is built for it. Look at the navigation. My account, checkout, orders, downloads, donate. They even list specific payment tools like PayHip integrated right in.
Yeah.
This isn't just a donation button.
Yeah.
No, it definitely feels more like e-commerce. Checkout and orders really signal that.
Precisely. It suggests they're selling digital goods. Could be access to those courses we mentioned, maybe exclusive sermons, music downloads, ebooks. Who knows? But they've clearly built the back end to handle transactions, like a proper online store for ministry products.
And then there's the whole media side of things. The distribution seems extensive.
Oh, absolutely. They list channels like radio podcasts, videos, free movies, music Bandcamp, YouTube, Spotify, playlists. They're aiming to be everywhere online.
It's like a media blitz.
It feels like constant output. And here's a really interesting thread, the word artist. It pops up in the main navigation and in the content categories.
Okay. What does that signal to you?
It signals that their creative work, the music, the videos, the stuff they push out on Bandcamp and Spotify, isn't just a side project. It seems like a core part of their identity. It's used for worship, sure, but probably also for outreach, for attracting people to the platform.
Okay, so the structure supports both ministry and potentially monetization through this artist focus. Let's see if the actual content from that October 16th snapshot backs this up. You mentioned breaking it down into clusters.
Yeah, based on the recent posts listed in the source, the content seems to fall into roughly 3 main categories. Each one appears to target a slightly different need or maybe a different way people search online.
All right, where should we start? Maybe with that Bible study category. That's where those eye-catching titles were listed.
Let's do it. This cluster, I think, tells us a lot about how they might be trying to attract visitors. We see those very specific, almost clinical-sounding titles posted repeatedly on October 16th, like, is she a narc?
Narc, meaning narcissist.
Exactly, short for narcissist or narcissistic personality. That term is huge right now in online discussions about relationships, self-help, mental health.
Ah, I see. So they're tapping into a really current, almost pop psychology term and framing it as a Bible study topic. That's what it looks like. Taking this very immediate, often painful, personal issue, dealing with potential narcissistic abuse and connecting it to faith. And then right alongside it, you have this broader, potentially quite charged cultural question, is Jesus white?
Okay, wait. Those are very different kinds of questions. One is deeply personal, the other historical and cultural, and potentially divisive.
Right. They seem to target very specific searches. People typing questions into Google when they're maybe struggling with a relationship or curious about historical debates around religion and race, things people search for when they need answers now. But isn't that risky? Putting a title like, "Is Jesus white" out there could definitely stir debate, maybe even alienate some traditional members. Is that a gamble? Well, maybe. But consider this detail from the snapshot. Those specific posts, "Is she a narc?" and "Is Jesus white?" were listed as having no comments at that time.
Oh.
So they weren't generating discussion. Does that mean they failed?
Not necessarily. I think it might actually point to their purpose. If they had lots of comments, you'd think they were trying to host a debate, but no comments. Maybe these posts are primarily SEO bait.
SEO bait, like search engine optimization.
Exactly, pure hooks. They cast a wide net to catch people searching for these very specific high-volume terms: relationship problems, narcissism, racial identity, and religion. Once those searchers land on the site looking for an answer to that one question,
They see everything else, the sermons, the courses, the music, the community.
precisely. The controversial or highly specific title is The Doorway. It's a top of the funnel designed to draw people in who might never search for, say, daily devotional.
That actually makes a weird kind of sense. Using the immediacy of pop psychology or cultural debate to bring people into the broader ministry ecosystem.
Which leads us nicely to the second cluster. This one was categorized under God's Corner. This seems to be the more traditional core devotional content.
Right. This is probably where they reinforce the main spiritual message.
Yeah, seems like it. The focus here is on themes like faith, patience, God's love. We see titles like When God Says Wait, also posted on October 16th, interestingly, and one from the day before, God's Love Never Fails. This is the content that affirms the site's core identity as a place for spiritual nourishment. It's kind of the soft landing spot after those provocative entry points.
And the source mentioned other related titles here, too.
Yes, things like God's Corner, Heaven's Joy Remix, and Love Jesus were also in this grouping, reinforcing that devotional theme.
Okay, so we had the provocative hooks, the devotional core. What's the third cluster?
The third is the music media cluster, and this really confirms what we suspected from the navigation, that creative output, especially music, is central and high volume.
Ah, linking back to the artist element.
Definitely. We see the title God's Corner Mix 2025-2026 appearing frequently under the music category. That suggests a regular, maybe even ongoing release schedule. It's current, designed for immediate listening, and they're clearly cross-promoting.
How so?
Well, titles like Love Jesus and another one, The Light, were listed under both music and videos categories in the source material. So they're taking the same core message or theme and pushing it out across different media formats. The music seems foundational, and video is a key delivery method.
Wow. Okay, so connecting all these dots, the structure, the content clusters, it points to an organization that's incredibly active and maybe quite strategic. Let's ground this a bit more. What about foundational texts? Did the source mention a specific Bible verse they highlight? It did. The daily verse cited in the snapshot was Proverbs 14.34. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin condemns any people. Exalts a nation. That's interesting. Not just about personal salvation, then.
Exactly. Choosing that verse frames their whole ministry. It gives them a theological basis for talking about broader societal and cultural issues, justice, identity, national conduct. It even provides a sort of lens for discussing things like the moral or spiritual implications of dealing with difficult personalities. Like the narcs topic, it connects the personal to the public.
And thinking about the public, what is the online public?
Yeah.
Let's go back to that date, October 16th, 2025. You mentioned several things posted then. It wasn't just one blog post.
No, it was a burst of activity. According to the source list, on that single day, they logged posts for Is she a narc? Is Jesus white? When God Says Wait? And the God's Corner Mix 2025-2026.
That's a lot for one day.
It really is. Just think about the workflow. Researching and writing about a complex cultural question like the historical depiction of Jesus, crafting a devotional piece on patience, and producing and distributing a new music mix simultaneously.
Yeah, that takes coordination. It implies a team, resources.
Yeah.
It sounds like a well-oiled machine, not just one person blogging.
Absolutely. That level of output suggests a serious operation, likely geared towards supporting those educational and commercial goals we talked about. You need content to fuel the ecosystem.
And one more detail from the navigation, we touched on that videos, free movies point. What do you make of that specifically?
Well, it's more than just listing videos. Specifying free movies suggests they're using longer-form cinematic content as part of their outreach or ministry. Maybe faith-based films, documentaries, something beyond just short clips or music videos. That's a significant commitment. Acquiring rights or producing films takes substantial resources. It pushes them further into the realm of being a media provider.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this deep dive up. Looking at this whole snapshot, the structure, the varied content, the output level, what's the big picture of God's Corner?
I think the snapshot reveals a really sophisticated, modern digital entity. It's a hybrid. It skillfully blends traditional ministry functions with a pretty active e-commerce setup and a high-volume media production pipeline, especially focused on music and video.
And the content strategy itself seems key.
Definitely. It seems quite savvy, actually, using provocative, highly specific contemporary questions to capture search traffic. That's the hook. Then they seem to seamlessly guide that traffic towards a core message of faith, which is delivered through this whole array of digital products, services, and media.
So what this means for you, our listeners, is that these sources show how some modern, faith-based organizations are operating now. They're complex, multi-platform media enterprises, really, where the digital tools and infrastructure seem to heavily shape the message and how it's delivered.
Yeah, and maybe here's a final thought, something for you to chew on based on everything we've seen in these sources. Given how prominently artist is featured and the clear integration of music platforms like Bandcamp, what does this material suggest about the actual role of creative identity and music production in this kind of digital ministry? It doesn't feel like just an add-on, does it?
No, it feels more central.
Exactly. It almost seems like the main vehicle they use to connect their spiritual message with their commercial or outreach goals. Something definitely worth considering about the future of digital faith expression.
Hello, everyone. My name is Melvin. I'm so happy that you're enjoying the messages and the music from God's Corner Ministries. Our mission is to continue bringing the good news of the Most High through powerful prayers, inspiring sermons, Bible studies, and uplifting music. God'sCorner.org is a growing community and ministry website, and we're just getting started. If you feel led to support our mission, please visit God'sCorner.org and click on Donate. Every contribution helps us reach more souls and spread the Word of God around the world. You can also find us on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and TikTok, and you can listen to our music on all major streaming platforms. Thank you so much for being part of the God's Corner family. Stay blessed, stay faithful, and remember, God is still in control.